Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, run it back. Run it up, then run it back. Yeah.
Well, we made it to Friday. Run it back's here. First day of the tournament is under. Well, only a couple upsets last night. Not too crazy.
It didn't get crazy.
Nothing weird.
Shout out to McNeese, though.
I know.
That was interesting. I watched that game.
I should have put that one down.
Yeah.
Drake. I mean, that's something.
I didn't get a chance to catch that one, but I saw the score.
That happened.
Do you have a bracket with your friends right now?
I do. It's right here. I carry it around with me so I can keep it up. Look how good it was. It's only a little bit of red.
I'm in dead last right now.
Okay, never mind. We're not going to do that then. Is Chandler with us today? Chandler's still there. He is coming from a golf course near you. Hey, buddy. How's your bracket doing? Because I know you had High Point.
Yeah, I had High Point. That was a bust. I did not have McNeese State, and there was one other one that didn't pan out great for me, but still a lot of basketball.
Clemson was the big one, I think, that knocked everybody out.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all right, though. You know what? We've got a lot to come back from on that one. We also have a lot of NBA to talk about, things that occurred last night, and we start with Raptors and the Warriors. Here we go. Golden State wins, unfortunately, though, at the cost of Steph Curry. He gets injured in this one. It's a 3-point win for them. DRAYMOND finishing with 21, 7, and 5. Jimmy, 16, 11, and 12. But the story, of course, is Steph. He left this one in the third with a pelvic contusion and did not come back. I mean, we could talk about whether or not a foul should have been called. You can talk about how big a deal. Here we go. How big a deal it is for. That's kind of we're walking into two trees, isn't it?
Yeah.
Should there be a foul?
Unfortunately, it's not a foul. This is what they'll call incidental contact, especially when it doesn't. They would consider this not affecting the play. Sucks to see him go down with such an injury. That's gonna be one that stings for a while. With your pelvis and your tailbone, and that area is gonna be tough. I don't know where they go from here, but you know, as far as that play, you know, they're gonna say that's incidental contact or the guy was straight up and down. So
what is the time on something like this? Is it a pain thing? You just have to figure out when you're done with the pain, or
that's gonna be a nagger.
So that's what it is.
That one's gonna come down to pain tolerance. That tailbone and that pelvic area, like your midsection, that's just gonna come down to your pain tolerance. I've dealt with this a few times, but nothing too serious.
I don't know, Chandler. Yeah. He misses the game for rest, and then he comes back and gets hurt. This is not cool.
Again, I think he's just in a lot of pain today. There's probably some swelling. I think it's cold tub and massage and things like that just to get him back on the floor. I can't see him missing more than a week. We want to be extra cautious with him. Steph, maybe 2 weeks, but I don't think there's anything bad. Also, I don't think it was a foul either. They did a pretty good job going hurt. It's just kind of a fluke of a play where it shouldn't have happened. It wasn't dirty, but you hate to see him go down, especially because how good they're playing right now. Obviously, Steph Curry is key to their playoff chances and their playoff hopes. I
mean, look, they got the win. Here's the thing, though, if we want to throw the standings up there, because we're all keeping an eye on that 6th spot that they currently hold. But with everything that's going around them, specifically looking at, you know, say Clippers and Timberwolves, what's your concern level, Chandler, on keeping that 6th spot for Golden State?
Honestly, I think they keep it. I think they're playing really well. Who knows how long that Steph Curry is out. And the Timberwolves are playing really good. The Clippers are starting to figure it out with getting healthier. Now Norman Powell's back. Kawhi's healthy. He's playing great. So there are teams that are playing good behind them. But the Warriors, ever since this trade, they're a completely different team. They defend. Been one of the better defensive teams since the trade. They can score in multiple different ways. Draymond Green's going on a nice little stretch of scoring in his career. He's now putting the ball in the basket. So obviously, Steph Curry being hurt and not knowing a timetable kind of puts a little asterisk next to this, but I think that they're still capable of winning games without Steph because they can play through Jimmy now, they defend, and other guys can step up. Now with Kuminga back, they can give him more looks and more opportunity, and they have enough to scores to kind of fill that void, but they're obviously a completely different team without Steph.
I mean, their schedule upcoming is relatively friendly, Lou.
It's
Hawks,
favorable.
Heat, Pelicans, Spurs. Grizzlies.
Yeah, their next six games on this road trip is going to be favorable for them. You know, this is 3 or 4 games that you look at on paper, and when you match it up, you feel like those are going to be 3 or 4 games that they can go out there and win and be able to compete. Chandler just mentioned it, them having Kuminga back in the lineup, the way that Jimmy's playing. Draymond is being more of an offensive threat. He's using his ability to facilitate for other guys to use that to be able to score himself. So, you know, it's going to excuse me, it's going to sting for them a while for Steph to be out of this lineup. Who knows how long this is going to last, but I think they can survive this and they can remain in that 6th seed with what they have on the floor.
On the Draymond offense stuff, that's his second 20-point game. I mean, I would imagine with Steph out, maybe other teams start to figure this out defensive strategy-wise. Chandler, do you think he can keep that up, or they'll do something different?
Is he a 20-point scorer a night? Probably not. And I've always respected this about Draymond Green, where he mastered his role so early in his career that he never had to even score. Like, in the way people guard him, he's going to get open looks. If he could knock him down at a high clip, then yeah, I think he's got potential. I mean, look, he's getting open shots in an empty gym the way these guys are guarding him. So if he can make these, yes, that's not what he does. He can play point forward. He can initiate the offense. He can, I think they could expose little guards that switch on him a little bit more and kind of get him to the free throw line more. So yes, I think there's more potential for him to score more, but it's not why he's going to the Hall of Fame. He's going to the Hall of Fame for winning games and doing all the little things and being a great defender. Scoring is just a cherry on top with Draymond Green.
And that's a fact. Like, we don't really need him to have big scoring outbursts. We just need him to be aggressive and, again, use that as a tool to get other guys open. If a team is going to play 10 feet off of you, of course you shoot open shots. But what I love about Draymond, sometimes he closes that gap between defenders. He makes you guard him. He's going to either drive past you or he's going to use that for teams to step up, use help side, and kick the ball out. That's where he's going to be dangerous. Now, him going out scoring 20, 25 points, I don't know if that's a recipe that the Golden State Warriors want to have, but him using his ability to make wide open shots, that opens up the floor for everybody else.
You know what he is? He's just a smart player, and when guys will guard him off him and stay back, he knows to go to a dribble handoffs and there's no show. He knows to slip a screen, so he plays really smart within their offense. He takes advantage of how guys guard him, not being able to shoot efficiently. So he's just a really smart player. He's savvy, he's heady, and again, I think we could, if he would have went to a Charlotte or a Washington early in his career, yeah, he probably could have averaged 20, 22 points a game with a bigger role and expand his game more. But that's never been his game in Golden State. It's never had to be.
The defense part. Let's talk about it, because they were already, since the trade anyways, the Warriors have had a top 3 defense in the league. Last night, this thing was sealed with Jimmy and a block. You love top 5 lists. How about Jimmy and Draymond, top 5 defensive duo in the league right now?
You got a few of them out there, but we knew the moment that Jimmy went to the Golden State Warriors that their identity as a defensive team was going to be upgraded, right? Like, just what he's able to do. He can guard damn near 1 through 5 if you would like him to, just being scrappy in the post with big guys. You know what he can do, guard the guard when he's guarding those guys. And also Draymond, like, you need a motor. You need a guy that's going to be able to communicate, keep everything organized. I mean, like, Draymond is playing football out there a lot of the times. He's playing safety. He goes out and helps, doubles on things that's not called for it, but that's just instinct. So you have 2 instinctive guys on the defensive end linking up, and they're making plays. Jimmy just won him a game last night on defense. So pairing these 2 guys together, we already knew what that was going to bring to the table. Now, of course, the top 5 in the duos, these are like, who knows, you know? But for the Golden State Warriors, these 2 guys, they've created an identity for this team to move forward, and that helps everybody else fall in line when to do what's needed to be done on the defensive end for them.
Come on, we love top 5 lists, Chandler. We love all
Get in there.
They're top 5 for sure. I don't know 4 that would be better than them. I really don't. These guys are versatile. They're both, like Lou said, they can switch 1 through 5. They can guard everybody. Draymond Green talks so much on where they just this natural born just a communicator on defense where he gets everybody in space. They're long, they're versatile, like I said. So I don't know who's a better duo than them, because they are guys that a lot of people say, let's switch 1 through 5, but there's still some sort of mismatches. You can legitimately switch 1 through 5 with these guys. They can front the post. You don't have to double team. They are extremely versatile the way they play defense, and they're so good they can even hide certain guys at any time of the game. So to me, yes, they're top 5. I think they're top 1 or 2.
There you go. Went 1 and 2. All right, fair enough. Actually, Steve Kerr said that Draymond Green is the best defender he has ever seen. We've got a lot of good Kerr quotes out of this season. Chandler, you buying this, or is this just Kerr having his dudes back?
He's very good. He's a very good defender, but again, this is Steve Kerr's, pumping up his guys, and as a head coach should. But you look down the great defenders of all time, he's in the conversation, best ever. Again, who knows? Everyone's rankings are differently, but I'll tell you this: if I'm Draymond, if I'm the Warriors, I love that my coach is saying this. I love that my coach is, pumping me up, getting my back. Draymond already said he wants to win Defensive Player of the Year again. Most likely going to be first team all defense. So. Yeah, he is that good on defense, and he is that important to the Golden State Warriors defense to where he may be. But, I mean, Steve Kerr played with a lot of good defenders and have coached against a lot of good defenders. But I love that he said it. I love that he went to bat for his guy.
The best defender.
And Steve Kerr's seen some guys, so this is a major compliment coming from Steve Kerr. You've had Andre Iguodala as one of your guys. You've coached, you played alongside Scottie Pippen. Like, he's seen a lot of different guys that have made their livings on both offense and the defensive end. And so saying this for Draymond, it's huge. But the one thing that Draymond has that these other guys don't, he's still wearing a uniform for Steve Kerr. So you need that. You need to go out there and say that and light a fire up under your guys and have them have that confidence in you the same way that you have in them.
Look, they were in the Bay last night, but they were playing Toronto, and that gives us a good excuse to talk about this. Because Thad Young was on a podcast with Tony Allen and Zebo and was talking about how being in Toronto kind of sucks. Because you got to go through customs for every road game, which, I never even really thought about, and the cold.
Yep.
Lou and I have been talking about this, Chandler, because we're discovering things. Because as an opposing team coming in and out, it was very, very easy, but the Toronto side is different.
I remember the Toronto Raptor fan base got upset with me because I tried to explain the disadvantages of playing with the Toronto Raptors opposed to the rest of the NBA, and they took that personally, like I was dissing. I wasn't trying to be disrespectful towards their fan base or Toronto. I enjoyed my time there. I loved it. I wouldn't have traded my experience with the Raptors for the world. I won my first 6 man there. But it has its disadvantages. You go through customs as an away team once if you're in the Western Conference, twice if you're in the East. When you play for the Toronto Raptors, you do it 41 times.
Never thought about it.
Yeah, it's a completely different experience. And because you're in Canada, Canada has its own culture. It has its own heritage and things of that nature. And so there are some adjustments that you're probably not used to when you're an American, when you go to play there. And so I wouldn't say that it sucked for me. I thoroughly enjoyed my time in Toronto, but it definitely has its disadvantages when you play for the Raptors opposed to being on the opposing team.
I never thought about it, Chandler. I was like, yeah, duh, they go through customs every single time. Like and it's for us, it's like you're on the tarmac, they bring customs to you, you land, there's a customs building that's separate, and that's it. It's quick.
Completely different.
That's different.
Like, we do that on the way back, but when you're leaving Toronto, you park your car at the private airport, you get on a team bus, they drive you over to the airport, they give you tickets to wherever you're flying to.
What is this?
You go, well, to their credit though, they do open up security lines just for us.
So your own TSA pre.
We do.
Okay.
But we are there with people.
Like you can get a Cinnabon also if you want to.
I definitely can get a Cinnabon,
awesome.
and you're definitely going to be asked and requested to take pictures and things of that nature. Like that's part of the experience. And then once you land back, you have the private airport where customs is right there in the lobby helping you as well. But again, this is something you go through 41 times or however many times that you go out on the road to play these games. That's going to be the experience.
Okay. Wait, true or false? Kobe had a moment. Please just tell that story. It's funny.
True. Kobe did have a moment. He did not want to take his shoes off in customs. He didn't.
That's my favorite thing of all time.
That is true.
Yeah. I never thought about it. Like going once is kind of a drag, especially if you land 12, 1 a.m. and you got to go through customs. And I remember you literally walk through the airport sometimes, and I never really thought about doing that 41 times. I mean, it is what it is, but that is a big difference. But really want to nitpick too, you also got to sit through 2 national anthems during warm-ups every single.
That's a good point.
Again,
it's a good point.
Listen, it's a lot.
That's like
it's
12 minutes.
I'm not trying to rile them up again. I probably should.
I mean, I love Toronto.
I love Toronto, and I listen. I love my time there, and they embraced me, and it was one of the highlights of my career being in Toronto. But it has its disadvantages. It is what it is.
Never ever even.
How about this? I remember I had a teammate who had something fishy with like an investigation or arrest before, and he wasn't allowed to go through customs, and he couldn't travel with the team to Toronto.
That's a thing too.
And trying to ship your cars over, all of those type of things, family and friends, it being difficult for them to travel
banking, all that stuff we take for granted.
Like speeding tickets and those things, you probably can't get some of your friends through to come visit. It's a lot of little different things that you don't think of. There's no Sports Center, there's no ESPN, they have their own.
It's Sports Centre.
And TSN, and they, it's just a lot of different things that you're not accustomed to going through or experiencing that can be different for you, that can make it a little challenging.
Never even thought about it.
Yeah.
Things I have to consider. There were other games. We also had a Bucks-Lakers game that occurred. I mean, no one played in it. There was no Dame, no LeBron, no Luka, no Reeves. Bucks crushed them. 118-89. Giannis finished with 28 and 7. Gary Trent with 23 points. Bronny James had a night. 17 points, 5 assists. Doc Rivers called a team meeting. By the way, back after the loss against the Warriors. And, I mean, it's a blowout win. You don't have Dame out there. That's encouraging, I suppose.
Yeah, good win for them. But, the Lakers were banged up as well. And so it was the battle of who had enough, who had more than the other team. And it was the Bucks, Giannis had himself a night, and when you look at the rest of the guys on the floor, he's probably going to dominate that game, and it was a lopsided win for the Bucks. So no surprises here. They took care of business and did what they were supposed to do.
What'd you think, Chandler?
When a team is so depleted like that, it's hard to really kind of dissect the game and what happened, but it's a good win. A win is a win in the league, and the Bucks, again, after a bounce back team meeting, etc., you hear things like that. It's good to see them respond in a positive way. So no matter who is on the floor for the Bucks or the Lakers, the fact that they played hard, they played with energy, they see shots fall from certain guys that haven't been shooting it great. It was a great win. And on the flip side, on the Lakers, when they're so banged up like this, they're giving opportunity to other guys that haven't got the reps, that haven't got it, that could be useful come playoff time.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, because as I said, Bronny had 17 points off the bench. Chandler, would you like to assess what you saw? Can he earn more minutes?
Yeah, I love it. I think, and this just simple from confidence standpoint, this just shows him that, look, I can go out here and I can be an effective NBA player. You watch these highlights, like he's getting to his mid-range, he's coming off screen shooting threes, he's getting to the rim, with nice finishes. So this is a great just kind of step for him and his progression and his development to see, like, look, okay, I belong, I'm here. No matter how many minutes, spot minutes I can do here, I think defense is his calling. Even when they're fully healthy, I think they can find spot minutes for him to come in, pressure 94 feet, be active, do all the little things a rookie should do, and let the scoring and let his game keep developing. But last night, I gotta say, I was impressed. He looked like a legit player, and he looked confident. He looked confident, and he looked comfortable.
And that's what you want to see from a young guy, especially when you're developing somebody. You want them to go out on the floor. You want to see improvement. You want to see development. And go out there, take advantage of the opportunity. Last night, he knew he had a chance to play some big-time minutes, and he went out there and proved that he's worthy enough to earn minutes at this level. And so when you're a young guy, use this as a stepping stone. Now I know I can get to my mid-range. Now I know I can get to the rim. I can use my three ball as being a threat. Just continue to build, continue to grow, and don't allow the outside noise to distract you. That was a good one.
And you know what? I'll say that all these people are like, oh, he doesn't belong in the NBA. This. Not anybody can just go into an NBA game and have 17 points. So this kid doesn't stink. He might not be, he can play, and he proved that last night. So I think a lot of guys that have doubt and that hate, I get it. It's totally natural just given the circumstances. But I think last night kind of opened up some eyes, even for J.J. Redick and that coaching staff, that, look, this kid can give us something.
Yeah, that was a good showing, even for the haters. J.J. Redick, very hopeful that LeBron will be able to come back on Saturday. That's against the Bulls, which would be the start of the final 13 games of the season. I don't know if you want to look at this as like a blessing in disguise. They're 3-3 without him, and he's been able to have at least a bit of a rest. They're only a half game back of Denver for the 3 seed. So does this seem to have worked out at best case scenario? It did.
It worked out. They weathered the storm. They could have easily been 4-2 in this stretch, but they ended up landing on 3-3, and you can get him back, early as tomorrow, back in the uniform. That was like the best case scenario, opposed to the wheels falling off for this team. Seeing some videos of him revving it back up, getting himself back in a rhythm, that looks encouraging. And you give a 40-year-old guy an opportunity to rest his legs at this point of the year, and having the team that you have, that should be encouraging for everybody involved on the Lakers side.
Yeah, the fact that they stayed 500, I'm kind of looking at Golden State. If, let's say Steph misses the next 16, if they were 3-3 or 4-2, I think that's a huge win. So the fact that the Lakers were able to stay afloat, we're able to kind of get production from other guys, I think was great. Even a game like this, where now you see Cam Reddish get minutes, Shake Milton get minutes, Bronny James get minutes. These are opportunities that they haven't really had as much this season, with Austin Reeves out, with LeBron out, with Luka out. And who knows, their number might get called in the playoffs in a series, and they might have to play a 4 or 5 minute stretch where they're going to look back on games like this where they had the reps, they had the experience. So obviously LeBron, he's coming back soon. They're a completely different, better team with him. But this team is going to probably make a deep run in the postseason, and they're going to need everybody at a certain point.
We got to talk a little Knicks here. At Hornets. Yeah, no, it's crumbling. It's falling apart. They lose their second straight game to a losing team by more than 15. LaMelo finishes with 25 and 8. Mark Williams 19 and 14. This is tough. They lost to the Spurs the other night. Now the Hornets, after this one, Josh Hart said the way they are losing these games is embarrassing, Lou. I don't know about you. I had already sort of kind of hit the panic button a little bit ago, but now it feels official.
Got to get Brunson back in the lineup.
Jeez.
Yeah, so it's showing how valuable Brunson is for this team. You know, it looks like he's the heart and soul of what they have going on. It just looks like something is missing there with the Knicks, right? And it's obviously their all-star guard. They're missing him. You know, we've had the conversation about the minutes, guys playing too much, all of these things. At the end of the day, you guys got a lot of talent out there. These are games that they should go out there and win. So I'm not panicking, but I think it's time for the New York Knicks to sit down and have a Doc Rivers-style meeting and have a meeting of the minds and get back on the same page and recalibrate going into the postseason. You don't want to go into it feeling like this. You don't want to go into it having losses that you feel are embarrassing, losing to teams that are going home in a few weeks and going on vacation. Like, this is a time where you want to look your strongest, you want to look your best. You want to feel confident in having a rhythm and going into the postseason. The Knicks feel like they're going backwards. But the great news is they still have time to kind of get that situated. They still got, you know, another 10 or 11, 12 games or whatever it is to figure this out and get it situated and get back on track. But it has to happen like now, like immediately.
Like today,
Straight
Chandler.
up.
Like today.
It's a great point.
It's rough.
This is when you want to see teams peak. This is when you see teams dial in, and the Knicks and the Cavs, they're going the complete opposite way. And I love Deuce McBride, but he's not a point guard. I'd rather them let him still come off the bench and score and start campaign at point guard while Jalen Brunson's out. But it does show the value of Jalen Brunson and how important he is to this team. But it is embarrassing. I'm with Josh Hart. Well, you're losing to teams that are trying to lose. Like that is not ideal. So again, I think they still have enough. They still can be a great defensive team and hold teams under 100 points and still win games without Jalen Brunson. But I'd like to see them tweak the rotation a little bit. Let Deuce McBride continue to do what he does off the bench, score, bucket, shoot threes. Right now they're having him playing at point guard, and they just have no flow on their offense.
Wait, can they be a great team defensively without Jalen Brunson? Because Charlotte had 115 points. Like I'm a little confused what they're doing.
Like with Bridges and OG, like that's when I think of Jimmy and Draymond, Bridges and OG. That's another kind of versatile 6'8", 6'9" wings that can switch everything. They have the roster and the personnel to do that. It's just I just think they're kind of out of sorts right now, and obviously offensively when you take out 25 and 8 a night, your offense is going to take a hit. They're not playing a true point guard. They're not shooting the ball great right now. So a lot of things are kind of accumulating here when they should be peaking, getting better and better and kind of gearing up for the postseason. They're going the other way, and it is a little bit concerning because the teams behind them, the Bucks, the Pacers, they're pretty well.
That's the other thing. So the cushion, they have a 3, 4, and 4.5 game cushion against those teams, Pacers, Bucks, and Pistons. But there's also word that Brunson may not be back until mid-April or so. And so I'm wondering if that cushion's enough. Are we concerned about them dropping?
Yeah,
I always thought it was enough. I thought, but man, they're only 3 games. They're 3 games up and what, like 14, 15 games left or something. Yeah. So I mean, it's they need Jalen Brunson back first things first, and I don't understand why a sprained ankle is taking this. Clearly, it was a high ankle or big, grade 2 or whatever you call it. But they're a completely different team without him. But I always thought they had this huge cushion. There was no way they were going to lose the 3 seed. Now here we are, a month left in the regular season, and it's dicey for them because these teams behind them are the Pistons. They're playing well. The Pacers, they're playing well. Milwaukee Bucks, they're healthy. They're starting to play well. So they need to get it in gear. They need to get it in gear quick.
They shouldn't be concerned about losing the 3 seed. They should be concerned about sliding to 5. They want to stay in the top 4 so they can stay at home.
Yeah.
I think they'll survive that. The only thing that'll be concerning for me is, you know, the Pacers, Bucks, and the Pistons, if they have any more head-up matchups with them. You know, that can sway this thing in one game.
Question.
Yeah, so the 3-game lead that they have, this can get swayed, you know, overnight in a loss to any 3 of these teams, let alone if you play a couple of them. That can really put your back against the wall. And so they got to figure this thing out fast. They got to get back on track, and they got to get back to playing winning basketball that we're accustomed to seeing them play.
They still do have a game against the Pistons and a game against the Bucks.
Yeah.
That is still left on the schedule. So those will be interesting ones to keep your eye on.
Absolutely.
Moving over to the Hornets side of this thing, LaMelo, second most games in the league with 25 points and 0 free throw attempts. That's a crazy sentence to read out loud. How do we evolve? Like, how do we change this, Lou?
It'll come in time. You know, he's still a young guy right now, so he's using his ability to shoot the basketball from far out on the floor and his passing ability to get to the rim, but he's not using it to make free throws or to slow the game down. As he gets older, his game will begin to evolve. He'll start to learn how to score the basketball in less dribbles as possible because he's going to want to stay on the floor. He's going to want to stay uninjured, and all of those things come with time. You know, as you develop as a player, you find ways to rig the game up, to play chess, not checkers, to find a game inside of the game where you're going to make it easier for yourself. You're not going to want to put out so much energy trying to score the basketball. And that's what you see with a lot of great guards later on in their careers. He's still a young guy with a bunch of energy right now, but as he gets older, he'll figure it out.
He'll figure it out.
He
Chandler.
definitely will.
0 free throw attempts is wild.
And those are easy points for a guy like him. The way he shoots it with great touch, he beat 90% free throw shooter. So I think that's just free money he's leaving on the table. But like Lou said, as he gets older, as he understands his pace and his speed more, he'll understand angles more, getting to the line, and he'll kind of be that guy that's getting 10, 12 free throws a game. But right now, he's so good and creative and crafty offensively. Sometimes he settles, he takes these long shots instead of kind of initiating contact, like you see the James Hardens, like you see the SGAs do. They do that so well. I think in time, LaMelo Ball can create that, and he can be the one that's getting to the free throw line, you know, double-digit times every single game. Just think about how many points he's averaging and how good of a scorer he is right now with limited free throws.
Can you imagine?
He could be a 30-point scorer if he's getting 10 free throws a game, no problem.
They do have the 3rd worst record in the league right now, so let's start playing the fun game, right? They get that #1 pick, they get Cooper Flagg. Does that make them immediately, Chandler, a playoff team next season?
No.
You mean the face of the league that's coming in is not going to change the whole thing?
No,
I can't start doing that.
He's going to help, but immediate playoff, you need a few pieces to get there, not just Cooper Flagg.
They got to win in free agency. They got to get some vet guys like the Pistons did. They got to add the Tobias Harrises, the Beasleys, the Tim Hardaway. You got to surround these young studs with Cooper Flagg. You know, Bridges, Ball, Brandon Miller's got to get healthy. I really love his game and where he's going to be, but. No, I don't think that's fair for Hornets. I don't think that's fair for Cooper Flagg just to say they're automatically going to be a playoff team. There's some good teams in the East, and they're going to continue to get better. So I think he helps, obviously. I think any of the top 3 picks, you get Harper, you get Ace Bailey, and Cooper Flagg, they're probably going to get one of those guys, which will help. And now you at least have these assets and this core and this talent moving forward. But playoff right away, it's a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, Spurs didn't become a playoff team right away, and they got an actual unicorn. So... nice try. I'm going to start getting defensive of that, by the way. I can already feel it. This whole anointing Cooper Flagg the face of a league is.
Why is it annoying you?
It's stupid.
You don't like the fact that somebody else could do what Tim Duncan did.
Like he's stepping on Wemby's toes.
Who is this? Who is Cooper Flagg? Who are you? Get out of here. All right, we do have some other stuff. I already feel it. I'm feeling like a mom, like I'm trying to protect
territorial.
Very much so. Nets Pacers. We got another one. No Halliburton in this one. And did take an overtime for the Pacers to win. Mathurin finishing with 28. 17 of those, by the way, came in the 4th and overtime. Career high 16 rebounds, my bad. Miles Turner, 23 points, 10 rebounds, 5 blocks. He's averaging 24 over his last 3. All of those coming without Halliburton. So I'm wondering if playoff time, Lou, if we're looking ahead, can he be a bit of an X factor?
He's going to have to be. right? They're going to need all hands on deck for them to be successful in the playoffs, especially with looking at the road that's going to be built against them. They're going to need all of these guys, including Mathurin, to give them everything they got. This was a great showing last night, especially with Halliburton being out of the lineup, him being able to step up, having 17 in an overtime. Like, that's the most impressive part of last night to me. When it's really winning time, who can I put this ball in their hands and they can go win me a basketball game? And he proved that he can be one of those guys to do it. And so when you bring Halliburton back, being able to pair those guys up in real winning situations in the postseason, this is going to be great for Indiana moving forward.
It's kind of nice
And
to have.
and the Pacers offense, just the way Carlisle naturally puts them in position and gets them up and down. There's no such thing as a bad shot. They play a lot of pick and roll. And with Halliburton out, you do have guys like Andrew Nembhard, TJ McConnell, who was unbelievable last season in the playoffs. And Benedict Mathurin, this is a guy that we, from his rookie year on, he was always a stud. He was always a bucket. He's versatile. He can ISO you. You can see him take little guys in the post. He's athletic. So he is one of those guys that can kind of do it all. And with a bigger role, he's kind of been in and out of the lineup with some injuries this year, but he's a stud, and he's one of their building blocks moving forward. And when Halliburton is out and Siakam's having an off night, he is the guy that they can play through. He can get you a bucket in an array of different ways. So he is that good. He is that talented, and he's going to be huge for them in the postseason.
Little spice in this one, you guys. Let's take a look. Nets were up 5 at this moment. Watford gets ejected. A little bit of a temper flare going on here. So first of all, there's under 5. Ooh, okay. Under 5 left in the game. A, is the ejection warranted? And B, second ejection for Andrew Nembhard comes a little bit later. So talk to me.
I don't know, but I tell you this,
Watford
about that action, boss.
In it.
I like
Lou, will there ever be like a dust up where someone just punches someone in the face right away?
Or
punch. Yeah, like is that ever going to happen?
It's too expensive, and the guys that can afford it not going to throw punches. It's too expensive. But hey, listen, Trendon Watford looked like he really wanted to have a problem. To initiate this and then push him again before he pushes you back, that tells me everything that I need to know about Watford. He might have been having a bad day, but he gonna pay for it today. I know that much.
That's by the way, I wouldn't have had Nembhard having 2 ejections in 2 games on my bingo card at the beginning of the season.
Guys, I told you last episode. Guys are irritated right now. They're irritable. Man. They're ready to get to the postseason and get rolling. Like these are the dog days of the season where guys are just irritated from traveling, playing games. You know, now your coaches are starting to hone in on where they want to be in a postseason, so the meetings are running a little longer. Practices and shoot-arounds, everything is running a little longer. You're going to start seeing a few of these, I guarantee it. I promise you that.
I like it.
Especially if you're a team like Brooklyn, you're not making the playoffs, and you know there's like chunks of the season, right? You're so stoked for the beginning of the season. Then there's kind of that month in between before All-Star break. You just can't wait for All-Star break. Now a team like Brooklyn, they're just trying to get to the finish line. They're just, I mean, at least the Pacers have
just over it.
They don't care.
They do not care. Half of them aren't going to be there next year, so this is kind of that time where they just want to get to the summer.
You know what? I get it. We're like, let's start the good stuff. Chandler, we're going to say goodbye to you. Enjoy the rest of your day. We will see you in studio bright and early on Monday. We will take a quick
next week.
Yeah, dude, don't even. I'm about to cuss. Don't even start. When we come back, we're going to talk some Heat and Pat Riley, and if that has run its course. Get ready, Lou. All right, we got a little say what here. We all know Miami's currently on a 9-game losing streak. Jeff Teague said that the Heat need to get rid of Pat Riley. Now, he's been there 30 years. He's 80 years old. What do you think?
I'll ask this question. We make so much about Pat Riley in his treatment of superstars when they get into the latter years of their career. Do we not supposed to hold front office personnel just as accountable when they get to a certain age?
I would think so.
Yeah, I mean, I think just naturally when you're 80 years old, there's things that you probably don't understand or get when it comes to the culture of players now. I'll get to the Heat culture part of it, but the players. Like, shouldn't there at some point be a better understanding of what's going on in 2025 opposed to what used to be?
I would think.
You would think that.
hope.
You would think that, right? And so for that, I would ask the question, when do we start holding our execs accountable on the same level of players when they say you're too old or you're too this? Now, I've never worked alongside Pat Riley. I've never been a player that's played under him. I've never been a Miami Heat guy. I can't speak to his impact day in and day out. I only know what I know from this vantage point. But Jeff saying that they need to get rid of Pat Riley, I'm not going to say they need to get to it because I can't speak to that based on experience, but I want to pose the question. At 80 years old in 2025, with how much the game has changed, it's evolved, what's accepted, and how guys carry themselves and what's deemed to be a successful way of getting to championships and winning basketball games, why not ask the question?
I wonder if it's just a simple case of it's Pat Riley, so he's sort of earned the right to leave when he wants to leave. And that being said, look, I think
who's gonna check him?
Most of us at 80, I don't want to even have been sniffing work anywhere near 80.
Yeah.
I'd like to make it to 80, but not be working anywhere close to it. But I also wonder, A, if he's one of those guys that's like, I can't not work. And then B, he's not going to want to go out like this, on this kind of a season.
Yeah, that's clearly his life's purpose. At 80 years old, I don't know if I'd like to be working, let alone be the president of basketball operations. And, your name is already on the court. To have your name already on the court and you still be an active member of the team, that says everything about your legacy and longevity and the things that you've been able to accomplish. Like that goes without saying. We don't have to run down Pat Riley's resume.
Sure.
But at some point, people get tired and things get outdated and it needs upgrades and you need the newer version of it. I don't know what that looks like for the Miami Heat.
Maybe Spoelstra. Maybe everybody moves up.
Maybe Spo can take that position. So I'm not a component of players or coaches losing their jobs. So I'm not gonna be the guy to sit here and say that Pat Riley needs to go. But if there was a guy to go, it would be Pat Riley, and maybe Spo gets that job. But I'm only asking the question.
I think it's fair.
Yeah, we do it with the athletes. Why not do it with the front office people as well?
I think that's fair. I think you're not being unreasonable. All right, Rob Parker said that Steph Curry isn't the greatest shooter of all time.
Talk about unreasonable.
I mean, this I had to read a couple times because he doesn't hit enough big shots, and that being the greatest shooter means hitting shots under any circumstance.
One, you have to be in a tight game to hit big shots. We've gotten used to Steph Curry putting everybody to sleep. When you've putting teams to sleep and this is your literal celebration, that screams big shot to me.
Yeah.
Right?
Kind of.
And Steph Curry has it all. He has the gauntlet. He can shoot off the dribble, shoot standstill, got a mid-range. He can shoot deep. The guy knows how to shoot the basketball when he's playing around. He has a routine where he shoots the ball from the tunnel and runs off. What are we talking about, Rob Parker? Are we just trying to get people excited? This is the one argument in basketball that shouldn't even be debatable anymore.
He did say he's the greatest three-point shooter?
Steph Curry is the greatest shooter that we've seen of all time. We've seen some amazing shooters. Hell of a shooters. Ray Allen, Reggie Miller.
He named him.
Even MJ was a great mid-range shooter. He was an assassin. Steph Curry is the greatest shooter that we've ever seen. If there's one thing in our sport that we shouldn't debate anymore, we shouldn't be challenging Steph Curry's ability to be the greatest shooter of all time.
It's a hot take.
Not even the guys that he's mentioned is even fighting this anymore.
I know.
Not even.
Ray and
they're
Reggie
not.
and
Yeah, they're not even fighting it. Like they understand what their impact on the game was and the things that they were able to do as far as shooting the basketball goes in their games. We love those guys, and then we found Steph Curry. And Steph Curry he's going to shatter every shooting record there is and put it damn near out of touch. Those guys don't even fight this argument. So why would Rob Parker?
I don't know. We need to get to the psychological.
He's just trying to
root
get
of
the
this
people going, man.
Just
That's
getting
it.
us riled up.
It worked. We're sitting here talking about it, but who's debating anymore that Steph Curry is the greatest shooter of all time?
I didn't have that on the card either.
Put this poll out in anybody's world on any platform, and Steph Curry is going to have at least 80% of the votes.
At least, I would
least.
agree.
Anywhere
and then you'll have
in the world.
contrarians, of course.
Anywhere.
Here we go. Rich Paul said that he doesn't think that there's going to be a next face of the NBA, that it's going to be community and that it should be embraced. Do you agree with the idea that there's not a face, a singular face, and we should embrace it.
I don't think there's ever been one face.
I don't get it.
I think it's always been a community. Now we've had stretches where obviously LeBron James has been the elder statesman for a long time, but at one point it was him and Steph. You know, even when it was him in his early days, it was Kobe as well. Like there's always been a tandem or a trio or a community-based stretch of guys that has held this crown. And so I understand what he's saying, and I agree with him. But there's always going to be one marquee guy that's going to be the big picture, and everybody else is going to be the small picture on the flyer. There's always going to be one singular guy that's going to be highlighted, but there's always been a community of faces of the NBA. Always.
Yeah, I can't remember a time where I would, maybe Jordan. Like,
I mean,
where
you don't
would
want
just
to
think of one person when you thought of the whole NBA.
Yeah, you've always had rivalries. You always had matchups. That's what makes All-Star Weekend special. That's what makes Christmas Day and all of these matchups and opening night and playoff matchups. That's what makes it special, because you have an array of guys that you can point to be the face of the NBA. And so it's always been community-based to me, but there's usually one or two guys that are going to be marquee on a different level than everybody
Like
else.
the movie stars.
Yeah, that's just natural.
That's fair. Bronny James spoke to The Athletic, and he said that he tries to let the negative comments go in one ear, out the other. Sometimes it fuels him, though. Says everything that people are saying, that people think he's a bleeping robot. The robot thing got me. Like he doesn't have, feelings and emotions. So what's your reaction to that?
I like the fact that he's fighting back. Like, allow me to be my own person. I'm a grown man. Everything that's discussed about me shouldn't be hedged on who my father is. You know, like, we should allow him to be his own man. So I like the fact that he's speaking up for himself. He wants people to know that he has feelings. Like, he's hearing all of these things. And being
a robot? I never thought of a robot.
Yeah, but being a young man navigating so much attention, like, at the end of the day, he was the 55th pick in this draft. No, we don't discuss anybody else in this draft in the manner that we discuss Bronny James. And that's because of who his father is. You got to allow him to go out and be the young, grown man that he is, and ask him sometimes, what do you feel about this? And he got to do a better job of being out on the front lines like he is now. Speak up for yourself. Become the vocal person. Stop allowing the media to speak for you or anybody else. Speak for yourself. Yep, or your dad. Speak for yourself, and that's where you'll start. That's where people can start understanding who Bronny James is. And it does help that he's going out there and performing at the level that he's performing, giving the opportunity that he is. And so all of these things helps. I feel like for him to not feel like a robot, but this is good for him to speak up and take the onus and say, hey, enough is enough. I like to speak for myself and stop treating me like this.
I think we'll always wonder what his journey would have been like had he not gone to the Lakers with his dad. Like if he would have gone in any other team. Like I genuinely feel like this would all feel differently.
Yeah, but
we'll never know.
But we'll never know, and it's also the beginning of this story.
Yeah.
Bronny James he's going to be a reputable pro. He's going to earn his keep, and he's showing that right now. And he's going to have opportunities year after year after year to be his own man, not be under his dad's shadow. And that's when this story will start to change. And I look forward to it.
We've got to take a quick break. On the other side, the age-old question: can NFL players be in the NBA? This time we have video, Lou. Video.
Let's not do this.
Yep, we're doing it.
Run it back, run it up, run it back, yeah.
We got video. DK Metcalf. Some basketball, some hoops being played. Will Compton, said that he could compete in the league. Now, you're watching him. He's a bit of a freak athlete, but what do you think?
Yeah, that's what I want to see. I want to see the, yeah, DK.
What do you think? He's got the short shorts. He's
hold
bringing
on,
it.
I was still analyzing.
We need more footage for Lou.
I was still. There are some guys that can play in the NBA for sure.
So we could just say, we'll say DK can. We'll put him on one list by ourselves.
I'm not going to say that based on what I just saw. Like size and build, if he would train and took it seriously, he has that working for him where you can train that size and that body into being a pretty good professional basketball player if he trained. It looked like he got good bones already, though. It looked like he got a great foundation of being a good basketball player. Pause if necessary.
I think so. We're going to let that one go. Cooper Flagg. We are going to see him. That is happening. We're going to see him later today playing his first tournament game. There's a little bit of a rumble out there that maybe he goes back to Duke. Are you buying that?
I'm not buying it. Unless they know something that we don't know, but
Why would
I
you?
got news for you, Cooper Flagg. Whatever team you're ducking, they're gonna be there next year too.
They're not going to be great.
They're not gonna be great. So whoever you don't want to play for right now, they're still gonna be in a whirlwind of the Cooper Flagg sweepstakes.
league.
So I wouldn't.
I mean, Jay Williams is out there saying this dude's going to be the face of the league. Are we just going to pretend like that didn't get said out loud?
Well, Jay Williams
Face of the league.
He's a Duke Blue Devil.
I know, but
those are the
man,
things that people say. No,
draw a line.
He got to get in line for him to be the face of the league, and
Like 17 faces ahead of him.
it's closer to 20.
20 faces.
It's closer
They're
to 20
faces ahead
so
of you, Coop.
you got some work to do, and for you to be the face of the league, you ain't gonna be able to do it in a college uniform. So if that's the goal, if that's something that Jay Williams and the rest of your fan base thinks of you, then you got to get this party started. Let's go. Let's see it.
Show me when he lands in his town that's going to draft him. If there's hundreds of people waiting for him out there. No,
Yeah,
not going to
let's
be.
see it.
That's what a face does. Malik Beasley. God, I'm going to be angry for like a whole season. I can already tell. James Harden's easy to guard. This is awesome. And then Harden responds by saying, I gave him 50, which was just earlier this month when the Clippers beat the Pistons. I like this, but is Harden easy to guard?
James Harden has never been easy to guard.
What is this?
I don't know what Malik Beasley was on, and if you watch the rest of that stream, it'll tell you what Malik Beasley was on. But
I would
no,
like some of that.
no, yeah, I want some too. Leak, but James Harden has never been easy to guard.
Why are you saying that, though, dude?
I don't know. It gets the people going, Beadle.
We're
This is what
crazy
we're
time.
doing. He
Just
doesn't
say
have to-
whatever.
One is in the East, one is in the West. He don't have to deal with him as much, so he can say what he wants
You know
to say.
how they would, though, Lou? If we got rid of conferences this year? Dang it.
go.
Now would have been the time to do it.
Boom, you got me.
Full circle. We're going to come back and wrap things up. All right.
You got me.
This would have been the time.
The running back, run it up, running back, run it up, the running back. Very impressive.
Sweet video. This first one, two big dudes. That's how you started.
Now, Zion. That's when the bullies get bullied, Isaiah Stewart.
God, that's a good matchup.
That's how the bullies get. Yeah, he caught him slipping.
I know, I do like that. Zion's been fun lately, man.
I like
wish it
it.
was in a better stitch, but all right, there you go.
That one's, we should have showed this one first.
You like that one better?
Yeah, the Zion one was better.
Yeah, I just think also we love to see Zion out.
And we like it that it was Isaiah Stewart. Okay.
How about this?
Twing
No,
twing.
yeah.
Spin him.
Yeah.
Filet. Oh yeah.
Cute.
Shout out my man Filet. Nah, I love this. Attack that rim,
then
man.
the
Forget them
face.
threes.
Ooh, he's so easy to guard. Watch this.
Oh, skates. Skates.
By the way, that was a moment, though, where the body language on Evan Mobley was like, whatever, it's fine. I remember that happening, thinking that was not a great moment for him. Where?
Oh.
Not Stewie again?
No, he was on a trampoline.
Why are we doing this to my favorite?
That's a trampoline.
Y'all being
Oh
rude.
my.
I did not okay any of this.
Isaiah Stewart.
I don't like that.
Life's come at you fast, brother.
No, we love him. Ooh.
With the stare down. We love it.
That was actually kind of rude, quite frankly.
There you have it.
I like that one. Chandler would have something to say about it, Sam Merrill. Sorry, receiving end of that one. We made it through a Friday. We've got a weekend ahead of us. The tournament. Find yourself a nice TV, get in front of it for 17,000 hours, and we'll be back Monday.
That's what I shall do.
See y'all then.
The running back, yeah. Run it up, run it back, 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 run it up.